Obviously, as Poles, we should say, oh yeah, people come here because that King City, that city of Pope, this and that. No, technically, it's something like this. All around Europe you can find beautiful, amazing places, and nobody knows. And almost nobody knew about Krakow, something like 25 years ago. There's, you see, okay, there is some place right there, but you know what, maybe nothing special. You go to the place and then, okay, that's something, right?
Meet Palle Bo, a full-time traveler and digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
What you hear in the background is the World Championship of football, the World Cup of football from Russia. And the two teams that are playing on the TV here in my brand new Airbnb apartment is Poland and Colombia. And that's quite interesting because now I've arrived to Poland. So it's the local team, and just a few minutes ago Colombia scored the first goal, so now Poland is really under pressure. Only if they win they have a chance of staying in the World Cup.
The ultimate destination for armchair travelers who are looking for inspiration to get out into the real world and let loose their wanderlust.
Welcome to the Radio Vagabond from Krakow in Poland. Partly supported by Hotels25.com. If you ever need a place to stay anywhere in the world, start by going to Hotels25.com. It searches a bunch of the biggest hotel search sites in one simple search and helps you find the best price quickly and easily. Hotels25.com. It's best price guaranteed.
The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
It's Sunday morning here in Krakow, and I decided to get up early and leave my computer alone for the day. I've been doing a lot of work the last week. Well, actually, I've been here almost a week now, and I've been sitting in the apartment most of the time just working away. And I'm about to go on a walking tour. It's always a good place to start. It's what they call the free walking tour of Krakow, and they've got free walking tours all over the world and in any major city around the world. And this is something that I'm using a lot. It's always a good way to just get a first look at a place, and then from there decide on what else to see if there's anything else. But I'm about to head on that, and it's going to be interesting.
I would love to hear from you, and now there's a new and very simple way for you to send me a voice message. It's a cool little web-based app called Telby, and all you need to do is click on the banner on the radiovagabond.com where it says "Talk to me," and then just talk. Tell me where you are and what you're doing while you're listening to this. It's super simple, and one of the cool things is that you can listen to it and redo it if you're not happy with it before you click send. Please try that. I get a small soundbite that I can play here on the show, and it's always wonderful to hear from you guys. You can, of course, also fill out the form under contact on the website.
Okay, I think I found them. They're right at the outskirts of the old city, and I see four yellow umbrellas, and on the tip of the umbrella there's a flag. There's a Spanish flag, a German flag, and two with English flags. So I guess this is the way you decide on which group to go with. But wow, there's a lot of people here. I found two different companies that does walking tours here in Krakow, and this one, they do 4 today at 10, 12, 2 and 4, and still, even though they do it so often, there are a lot of people here. I would guess around 100 people. Hello?
Good morning. Joining?
Yes, please.
Good. So, where are you from?
I'm from Denmark.
Denmark. It was for me something like at least 2 months without people from Denmark. So you came back.
It's about time.
Good. And you guys?
From Emirates.
Dubai.
Dubai.
from?
Emirates.
Out fine. Good. I've never ever visited. See, that is not even on my bucket list.
It should be.
It should be. It should be.
Maybe one day I will be welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Old Town Tour. My name is Tomasz. Tomasz is my name. My nickname is Cullen. Or one of my nicknames. Long story.
The guy who's doing the tour is a smiling, very, very tall young man with a beard. Well, the kind of beard where he's got hair on his chin, and he doesn't have a mustache. He's almost bald, and he's got piercing in both eyebrows. And he's going around the group asking where people are from. Let me just catch up here.
Tomasz is his name, but he has many nicknames. Kalen, Big Tom, the Giant. He's the one and only 2-meter guide in Krakow at 6.7 feet. He's born and raised in Krakow and graduated from the Jagiellonian University, sorry about the pronunciation, with history as his major subject. And the thesis subject was on Krakow. So he's the perfect person to tell you stories about the old town in Krakow.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, definitely you should know at least something about the company, right, guys?
As we're walking through the old town, let me share some facts about it.
And now, facts about where we are.
Krakow's entire old town, including Wawel Castle, the market square, and the Jewish district, was one of the first sites to be added to the UNESCO World Heritage List when it was created in 1978. In 2013, Lonely Planet voted Krakow Square the best market square in the world. In Polish it's called Rynek Główny, and it's also the largest medieval town square in Europe. It's a square space surrounded by historical townhouses and churches. The center of the square is dominated by the Cloth Hall, with 2 towers, one slightly higher than the other. There's a knife that hangs from a rope on the wall of the Cloth Hall. There's a legend that tells the story of 2 brothers who built the towers. When one of them realized that his tower could not be as tall as the other one due to weak foundations, he killed his brother with that very knife out of envy. The knife hangs there as a reminder of humbleness. But I'm not sure the story is totally accurate. According to Polish folklore, there was a dragon that lived at the foot of Wawel Hill who required regular offerings of livestock so he didn't end up eating the local human inhabitants. The dragon was killed either by the sons of the city's founder, King Krakus, or by the cobbler's apprentice, depending on who's telling the tale. There's now a statue of the Dragon of Wawel Hill close to Wawel Castle. It's a bit of an attraction because it spews fire every few minutes, thanks to a natural gas nozzle installed in the sculpture's mouth.
And that was facts about where we are.
And this is where we end the tour, at Wawel Castle. And Tomasz is kind enough to spend a little extra time with me for a chat. According to Walkative Free Walking Tours website, Big Tom is a huge fan of British comedy and coffee, and was a full-time guide to his children before becoming a part of the Walkative team in 2015.
So Tomasz. So Tomasz.
It's very flat. It's sh.
But it's just with an S at the end?
No, it's okay. They have sounds like sh or sh, exactly, but also Portuguese vowels, for example. If you look at the language, they are really, really close because they have also, just like Poles, we have 2 different types of vowels. Some of them, they are very flat, they're really short, like a, e, I, o. They're just right? And some of them, actually, they are really, really, really deep and long, like on, just like in Portuguese. And if you listen, for example, to Brazilian Portuguese-speaking people, they're it's very long, and some of their vowels are very flat.
But the languages are not similar, are they?
It's totally different.
Yeah.
It's totally different thing because we are exactly Slavs. I mean, like I said, you see, during the tour, all of us, once upon a time we came from India, so it's only the question how far we are from Sanskrit, right? But come on. But in the very same and exactly somehow, in this weird way, in this lucky way, we are really close with our pronunciation.
But it's funny with the languages here in Europe, especially in this part of Europe. There's a lot of Slavic languages, and then there's Hungarian, which is off the chart different.
Yeah. I mean, with Hungarians, you can relate to Finland and to Estonia. Right, they have actually mutual ancestors. Right, that's one group of language.
When I was in Hungary, actually a free guiding tour guide told me that when he sees a group of Finnish people speaking from a distance, he thinks it sounds a bit Hungarian, but then when he gets closer, he can. Oh, it's not. It's not at all.
Yeah. So that's about families. But in a very similar, like I said, you see, well, that's amazing thing how you can track languages and how you can track similar words. And it's just.
Yeah. And Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish are quite similar, but Finnish. Off the charts.
Yeah, and also, come on, so many times I found that I see people from Finland, they are so upset when you say, oh, so you are from Scandinavia, Scandinavian, aren't you? No. Yeah, so that's something. I mean, it's always like that, and always know about politics, and always because of politics and history, and come on, just moving on around foreshore. You had a few conversations about Kalmar Union, right? There are some people who say, "Oh, that was great." Oh, not really.
Have you ever wondered what the places in this podcast actually look like? I have. So I started following the Radio Vagabond on Instagram. Simply by searching Radio Vagabond.
So, Tomasz, why should people come to Krakow?
Oh my God! Yeah. It's okay. So like that.
More and more tourists are coming here every year, and what is it that attracts the tourists to come here?
You mean what should be the reason, or what is? What is the reason? The reason is that you see. Well, somehow I believe that. Prague did that, right? You see, well, actually, Prague came something like 18 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. Prague came as this new touristic city in Europe, right? And I remember, for example, exactly, I was a student, I studied right here at University moment, as a practical and curious man, during vacations, I traveled, right? So there were different places, and I remember how puzzled I was, and it was something like, 2003, 2004, and actually, in both Republic and Northern Ireland as well, exactly, I saw all of these advertisements that like, go to Prague, right? So I'm like, all of these, flights to Prague, and I was like, okay, and then exactly it started for Prague, and more people, from Ireland and the UK, they were coming right there. Then, a lot of people, they were already in Prague, and they saw, there is some city really close to Prague, and we visited Prague 7 times. So maybe let's find the science.
Prague is wonderful.
Prague is wonderful, but in the very same moment, Prague is overcrowded. Yeah. In the very same moment, you go to Prague and you see after just hour or so in the area of the old town, right there, I'm tired of something like, why the hell, why so many of you, right? You see, well, this is like, it's a wonderful city, but still you see a little bit too many people, right? So in the very same moment, I believe that some people, they found out, okay, so we have, the place which is really close to that. It's not so overcrowded. There's also a lot of things to explore right here. Just like sooner or later, I believe that Slovenia will be the place like Krakow. And I believe that in the next 5 or 10 years, exactly, it's time for Slovenia. Right there, you go to places you haven't heard of, and then you go to amazing, wonderful places.
And I'll tell you what, Albania.
Oh,
have you been there?
No.
I was in Tirana recently, and hardly any tourists come there. But I could see that as the next big thing. Yeah. And also Montenegro is, in my opinion, Montenegro is got a coastline that is second to none. And Croatia is.
People know Croatia, right?
Croatia, people know that, but after being in Montenegro, I thought, well, Croatia's nice, but I don't see anything that is not in Montenegro. It's beautiful, and
But as you hear with Krakow, like I said, I look at that.
Yeah, we're talking about Krakow, right?
I mean, I should tell you, this is the best place ever. Like I said, obviously, as Poles, we should say, oh yeah, people come here because that king city, that city of Pope, this and that. No, technically, it's something like this. All around Europe, you can find beautiful, amazing places, and nobody knows, and almost nobody knew about Krakow, something like 25 years ago. It was, you see, well, okay, there is some place right there, but you know what, maybe nothing special. You go to the place and then, okay, that's something, right? Yeah, you see, well, so more and more, it's really growing, and I only obviously know that it makes a living for me, and it's a wonderful thing also, I believe, from this side, that it gives us opportunity, to work out some things, to look at actually our city from a different perspective, to look at this city again from this multicultural perspective, which is, I believe, so important for us, because actually we don't remember actually what does it mean to have multicultural society. And that's a chance for that. At least, exactly, for something like this, the tourists are here for a while, but in the very same moment, just walk all around the old town. And, if you think about percentage of Polish and foreign languages...
Yeah, and we were just doing the Old Town tour, and it was super interesting. And what strikes me about the Old Town is that you see houses that are very old, and it was not, I hear, not that damaged during the Second World War, not like Warsaw that was basically leveled. So you see all the old houses and all the old castles and the churches and stuff like that.
Yes. And I'm not going to elaborate on that because if you give me only something like a chance to tell you why Krakow actually survived in a really good shape, then we'll stay here for the next 45 minutes. But as well, actually, the thing is that exactly Krakow was lucky. Krakow was really lucky at the beginning of the war, during the war, and at the end of the war. And that's how exactly, as you say, if you compare Krakow to Warsaw, right? Warsaw, as you say, was demolished to the ground. Exactly. If you think about the old town of Warsaw, half of one building survived. Really, right? Half of one. So you should say it's just 100% of the old town, right? 84% of left bank Warsaw demolished to the ground. Right here, it's a totally different thing. That's how always we say Warsaw was in fact rebuilt. Warsaw was recreated. Krakow only renovated. Even people from Germany somehow, maybe see with your previous question, people from Germany coming here, people coming from beautiful cities like Nuremberg, like Dresden, like Köln, they are wonderful. In a very same moment, they were rebuilt. They were totally rebuilt because that's obviously the German cities also are victims of the war. So exactly, they come here and they say, oh really? That's the same stone that, for example, 400 years somebody just also touched and did this and that. So yes, that's genuine city. Yeah.
Walkative Free Walking Tour offer 4 different tours of Krakow: Old Town Krakow, Jewish Krakow, Communist Krakow, and Macabre Krakow. If you go on a tour with Thomas, make sure to say hi from me. This giant among guides is very passionate, excited, and fascinated about Krakow. He loves his city, and it shows. Find the links in the show notes.
So tell me a little bit about your organization.
Walkative. You see, well, actually,
it's free walkative tours.
Free walkative tour is the concept, and somehow it's a way how we moved between the foundation, because at the very beginning we established this free walking tour foundation, and how exactly we implemented right here the idea of free walking tours, right? The idea which, as far as I know, came in Germany, right? It was 2006 in Berlin. Actually, they started.
They're
with that.
All over the world now.
Exactly.
I do that every time I get to a new place.
What? And it's like, and at the very beginning, I thought only something like, that's interesting. But I see, well, it's not because I'm part of that, but I see, I strongly believe it's amazing. It's amazing way of service. right? Because come on, it's something like this. You come, you approach something. You would like to buy something or take something. You do somehow. You take it. You touch it. You squeeze. You taste. I think, oh, that's good. Okay, it's really good. I'll pay for that, right? And for example, you pay as much as you want. And because usually we believe that we are fair people, so you pay what you believe it's fair. In the very same moment, you see, for example, there's another thing. And you touch something and you think, oh, you know what, maybe not for me, maybe not so great. So and you pay nothing, and it's okay. And it's I believe it should be like this. Maybe finally, for example, if you think about slowly the way we move towards. In the past, I know I'm just whining like the old man, but you see, there was something. But come on, I'm 36. So in the past, it was something like you can think like, oh, you know what, in the past things that were way better. Right, and nowadays, if you think about cars, if you think about services, things are like, okay, in the next 5 months you will come for another one because it will break or whatever. In the past, things were better. Maybe better solution for our economics would be something like to change actually the idea we work. Like first you provide people with the service, and then they will pay for that, right? And we'll see if you survive, right?
Can you guide me to any restaurants here that does that? Michelin star preferred.
But you know what? Also, I thought about this restaurant. Somehow, you see, actually, as far as I know, actually, waitresses, they live like that, in the US. Actually, they call this one tips, right? Yeah. In the very same moment, that's so many times 95% of their salary. So it's not really a tip. Yeah. It's just actually their salary, which depends on their service. Yeah. And it's somehow I believe for countries like former part of Soviet bloc, because communist economics was way different. Communist economics was like of competition, was like of competence. You were paid because you were paid. Yeah. And the better thing is, you are paid because you are good. And we are good. So.
And I get the feeling that with tips in restaurants here, it's like it is in Denmark, that it's not something that's required. It's nice if you get super service, but it's not something that you expect like in the US and many other places.
Yeah, exactly. But I believe it's somehow it's really fair thing, because people they so many times and what about these people? They, for example, they go for your tours and they just walk away. Okay, they walk away. But in the very same moment, you will. I believe, I somehow judge, people all around, just think about also how I react, how I also live, and that's the thing. If you, for example, if you get something really good, you think like, okay, this win-win situation, because now I believe there's no chance to be just ripped off, to feel ripped off.
And how does it work for you guys? Do you get a percentage of what comes in with the tips, or is it a fixed salary?
No,
or
obviously, you think about technicals, right? This is.
I'm just curious. I've been wondering about it. Maybe I want to become a tour guide.
So okay. So I hate politics. Like I said, I told you a few times today exactly. But it's okay. Always the Poles are pretty bad with money, right? Exactly. We cannot talk about money. Actually, we are. It's okay, also
okay. That's just say no comment.
But that's the way. So actually, I remember the very first private tour I had, and there was American family. And they asked me so many questions, and the tour was really exhausting. I mean, it was great because they had really great questions. But you see, at the end of the tour, there was almost 4 hours, and I just barely had the time just to drink something, just talking always, answering all these questions. And on the way back, you see, actually, I brought them back to the hotel. And it was paid tour, right? It was private paid tour. And this gentleman, he said something, oh, thank you very much. And he gave me something, right? And like I said, it was the very beginning for me. And I was like, okay, what's that? And I said, like, oh, there was something like, 200 złotych, right? And I was like, well, sir, but you know what? It's a paid tour. You paid that already. I mean, the company which just booked that, it is paid already. And he said, no, it's a tip, And I was like, well, sir, but you know what? It's too much. And then he said, you know what? There's one lesson, right? You get the tip, you smile, and you say thank you, right? That's the way. And remember, but yes, I was thank you, sir. I will. But in the very same moment, it's like in Poland we are pretty bad with things like that. We are pretty bad with receiving things, with receiving money, and also we're pretty bad with talking about money.
So do you get a sense that 99% of the people pay something, or are there people that are sneaking away when the tour is over?
They are, obviously, yeah. I mean, I'm not so upset by that. I mean, it's like...
I would be.
You know what? I told at the beginning, right? As you were just starting the tour, I told you that exactly this concept exactly works like street art performers, right? And you can find that for example, exactly there's a kind of show, and then the show is just about to be that's that, and then that's amazing. You see when they shout something, and by the way, just don't be just like these cheap bastards right there, just walking away. In a very similar, I'm not going to mock people like this, because it's like, it's your choice to be cheap. Just be cheap, right? You see, well, actually, that's I believe that's my thing to say something like, ladies and gentlemen, that's the way I make a living. So if you know that, right, that is, I'm just 100% based on the tip. If you know that also, that it's not really illegal, exactly sneaky something. No, it's just we are taxed. We run our companies. We pay taxes. Just like I said, every single penny, every single grosh and euro cent whatsoever, it's taxed right here. If people know that, and yet they walk away, I'm not going to talk with you anymore. It's like do on your own, live your life. I mean, no, it's karma is coming back. Honestly, I'm not like
bitch.
But in the very same moment, you say, well, it's maybe not for everyone. Maybe knows that there are some ups and downs. But in the very same moment, apparently people are fair, and really, I believe we are better and better and better. So yeah.
That's all we have time for in this episode. In a few seconds, I'll tell you what to expect from the next one. But first, I'd like you to do me a favor. If you like this episode, please tell a friend. I'm dead serious. Pick up the phone or send a message to a friend telling him or her about this podcast. That's the best way to spread the word about the Radio Vagabond, and I'll be so happy if you could help me this way. You are the best. This episode is supported in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotel rooms, guest houses, and hostels all around the world. Hotels25.com.
Next week on the Radio Vagabond.
I'll be back with more from Krakow and the surrounding areas. Next week's episode is going to be both cheerful and kind of depressing. I'll take you along to my visit to the former Nazi concentration and extermination camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau Memorial and Museum.
I'm about an hour's drive outside of Krakow now. I'm very close to the historical gate where it says Arbeit macht frei.
And then I'll go partying in the sports bar with hundreds of English fans. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Produced by radioguru.co.uk.